welcome back to my channel, Another Dark Matter. I know y'all are thirsty to know what's been going on, but I have really fallen in love with this idea of food prepping. So this will be my third week food prepping, and I would like to show you all what I'll be doing. I know on the menu I'll have some baked chicken. I plan to saute some mushrooms and onions, also do a healthier version of jambalaya, and some sweet potatoes and mixed vegetables. So as long as you stay tuned, I'll be cooking. Alright, so I have my chicken seasoned up and it's ready to go into the oven. I have chicken wings, I have some chicken breasts that I cut and filleted, and I also have some chicken thighs in there. Then I have my chicken broth on, going with my season blend as well as my seasoning, salt, pepper, cayenne. I'm going to add some chili flakes in there as well for the jambalaya. Next, I've chopped up or diced up some chicken breasts and some chicken thighs, which I'm going to throw into my pot of chicken broth and veggies to get that going for my jambalaya. So I've already added in my chicken into this pot, so that kind of stopped the boil. Now I'm not one to measure. I've been cooking since I was in the first grade or so, from the South, from Mississippi, for those of you who don't know me. So I kind of eyeball it and I season to taste. So I don't exactly have a recipe for this. I can give you the ingredients and then you can kind of figure it out on your own. But I went to Whole Foods today and I got some short grain brown rice, and I'm going to add just enough of this that I know how much I need for jambalaya. So I know I've got, this is a, what is this? A half a cup measuring spoon. So that's a half a cup. That's a half a cup. Another half. Another half. Another half. Sorry, yet another half. That's 3 cups. Let me see what we're looking like. I think I will add one more half a cup because I'm going to be also putting in here some quinoa. So one final half a cup. So that's 3.5 cups of brown rice that I'm putting in there. Next, I'll start on my quinoa. I also purchased some quinoa while at Whole Foods today, and I'm going to get that cooking separately. And right when it finishes the boil, I'm going to actually take it out of the pot and let it absorb water into the, or I'm going to fold it into the jambalaya after it's absorbed the water, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've got some water. Again, I didn't measure, I'm not one to measure, but I am going to put 1.5 cups of quinoa into this pot. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get this washed off and get it going. Alright, so I've got lots of food going. I have the quinoa going, and I did add some chicken broth to that. I also have back here my pot for my cabbage, and I added 3 beef bouillon cubes in there so that it'll add some flavor. I won't be adding any meat to it. Got my cabbage in the sink. It's getting washed up. I've got some salt in there so it can soak and make sure there aren't any living organisms within. And I'm going to rinse that about 3 times before I add it to that pot with the bouillon cubes and water. So here I've got some onions and mushrooms, which I'm going to saute down in a little bit of olive oil, just a drizzle of olive oil, and that'll get going. I've got my 2 heads of cabbage in the pot. My rice and jambalaya is still cooking, and of course it's brown rice, so it's going to take a while to get good and ready to go. And then I have my quinoa absorbing back there in the back. I also have my chicken in the oven, and the one very last thing that I have to do is cut up my sweet potatoes and get my mixed vegetables on. So 2 last things I have to do. Okay, so now what I've done, I have peeled, cut, and washing sweet potatoes. I peeled about 10 sweet potatoes and I cut them up, and now I'm just rinsing them off. What I plan to do with these is to toss them in a little bit of Truvia, some cinnamon and allspice, and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to put that in the oven and let it roast. Alright, so my jambalaya is coming done. It is starting to thicken up, and I've got the rice in there, and I turned the heat off. I'm just going to let that soak up some of that water, some of those seasonings. I've already strained my quinoa, so I'm going to let that get nice and dried off, and then I'm going to toss that into the pot with the jambalaya and let it absorb some of the flavor.
I've got the quinoa in the pot, and I'm just gonna mix it in, fold it in there real good. Let it absorb some of those good flavors. Then I'll have my quinoa and brown rice jambalaya. Alright, last but not least, we have our mixed vegetables. I love this blend because it has my squash and zucchini in there, as well as broccoli, cauliflower, and some carrots. So I just have these in a pot with a little bit of water, salt, and pepper. I'm gonna bring it to a boil and then turn it off and just let it sit and soften up a little bit. All right, so my chicken is all done. I'm gonna take this out so that I can reuse this for my sweet potatoes. So I've got 2 packets of Truvia. I'm just gonna sprinkle that all over. All right, I've got some ground cinnamon. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of that. Got some allspice. I'm gonna sprinkle that over as well. And I got some extra virgin olive oil, which I'm gonna just put a tad bit over. Alright, I'm gonna mix that all up and stick it in the oven. Alright, so as you can see, I have a multitude of different containers, okay? So what I have here, these smaller ones over to the right side, these and these will be used for my individual meals that I take for lunch, as well as my boyfriend. These bigger ones here are ones that I use for the family. So for example, I already have my jambalaya prepped out in one large container. So I'll stick this in a microwave and that'll be the main entree. Smaller containers such as this one, I'll use to pack all of the veggies down. So we only heat up 2 things in a microwave. Bam, dinner served for that night. I'll also be packing chicken with sweet potatoes and mixed veggies into the larger family containers, and then I'll make portions out for myself and my boyfriend for the week. Here's the finished product of the sweet potatoes. Alright, the mixed vegetables are complete, and I will add these into the meal prep boxes. Alright, so we'll just portion these out amongst the many boxes that I have. This is a work week box. Bowl, I just stack everything. Everything gets stacked. The box with the minimal amount of sweet potatoes is for my boyfriend. He doesn't care much for them. Alright, so there you have it. This is going to be a week's worth of prep food so that we can stay on track. Thanks for joining me, guys. See you next time.